Here's why we don't say the question, what's your budget? That begs the question, what are you selling me? Right? Also, people, you're in a negotiation for price, right? The budget is what is the most affordable for me. That's ultimately what she's going to drive at. And it's going to be lower than perhaps what you think it should be, just from a negotiation standpoint, right? They're going to lowball it. The other thing is it sounds very salesy. What's your budget? You know, if it's like, well, what do you got, right? So I like to take command here and start high with numbers. That also gives us the added benefit of what Rich uses, which is anchoring the price. When you start at a high price, like $200 a month, most people don't say yes to that. They say emphatically no. But going down and dropping down when you get to like 75 a month, well, boy, that sounds a lot better than 200. And there's this kind of like relative savings by how low you've worked that price to get them something that's affordable and will work to solve their problems, right? And that budget, 75 a month, without having that anchor there, there's something lost in that process. It could have been 200, but it's 75. So from a fundamental standpoint, what we're trying to accomplish here is to anchor a high price and to use that as a basis to end up selling something that's a little bit higher than had we not had it whatsoever. The beauty of what we're doing, though, is that if that price, at the end of the day, it's totally up to the client to decide what their budget is, right? So we're in a position, Terry, to where at the end of the day, I just want them to afford something that they can say 100% yes to. But I also know, and this is something I've learned after I got out of the field, is the anchoring strategy helps relatively base the client's expectations better than just an arbitrary number to start with. So what does that anchor have to be? It's arbitrary in a sense that you can decide. What's the difference between asking $200 and $150? Are you going to get hanged up on more with one or the other? Are you going to get kicked out of the house more than one or the other? I don't think so. But with a $200 anchor, 75 sounds better than it would at 150 or 125. It sounds like a better savings. So for me, I don't think anything is lost by going to 200 instead of 150 personally. But at the end of the day, as long as you have an anchor there that starts high, that's important. Then now, is there an anchor that's too high? Maybe 300, 400, 500. 500 can afford 500. How about 400, 300? Maybe that's a little absurd, possibly. But I think 200 is fine. And I think you'll find that most people use it without any sort of issues. So the nice thing about asking high is occasionally somebody does buy high.